friend Rebecca Fowler. I am the Deputy Director for the Colorado Organization for Latina Opportunity and Reproductive Justice, Councillor. I am here today with our partners from 9 to 5 Colorado and Progress Now Colorado to announce the Colorado Stand With Women campaign. The Stand With Women Coalition is dedicated to fighting against the limits that stand in the way of the health and dignity of Coloradans. We are working to push forward-thinking policies that will truly meet the needs of women and families. This is particularly important for women of color who are disparately impacted by barriers to reproductive and economic justice. This campaign is a long-term effort to build political and community power in order to shape the policies that are being enacted at the local, state, and federal levels. We are working both in community and with decision makers because we know that Coloradans want forward-thinking ideas that meet the needs of women and families, so many of whom are struggling to make ends meet and find new opportunities. Right now, too many lawmakers are putting political agendas ahead of the needs of Coloradans. We see that at every level of government, where cuts are being made to social programs that help families thrive, and limits are being created on access to critical healthcare services for women. Whether it's policies that would restrict access to women's healthcare and invade their personal decision-making, or policies that favor economic opportunity for a limited wealthy few, we are here today to say, enough. Quit standing in our way. This year, it's time for our leaders to stand with women and families to advance solutions that will provide for our needs. We are here today with leaders who represent Colorado in Washington, D.C., in Denver, and in our suburbs. And we applaud them for standing with Colorado women and families, and we look forward to working with them on solutions that will move our great state forward. I'm going to introduce our speakers. We're so excited to have them and thank them so much for being here. Chief Deputy Whip Diana DeGette is the Congresswoman serving her 10th term representing House District 1. As a member of Democratic leadership, she has stood with women and families of Colorado, playing a vital role in policies to advance and protect health care for low-income women and children. She is working to create more jobs and opportunities for small business owners. As the co-chair of the Congressional Pro-Choice Caucus, U.S. Representative DeGette has fought for common sense, family planning, and reproductive rights. She is a lead sponsor of the Prevention First Agenda, which is a comprehensive bipartisan approach to reducing unintended pregnancies and the need for abortion. Thank you, Congresswoman DeGette, for standing with women and families.
Thanks to my friends here at Maria Empanada for hosting us. I told my staff, any event that is held here, I will be here. I think we all feel that way.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just really happy to be here with Councillor today, and I'm really happy about this agenda because for too long in this country, we have pursued an agenda on women's health that has discriminated against poor women and that has discriminated against women of color. And it's really time for us to stand up in this country and say enough is enough. We are going to give the full range of women's health care services to every single woman in this country, no matter what her race is, no matter what her economic status is, and frankly, no matter what her national origin is. Every woman should be entitled to the full range of health care. I want to talk about one particular issue that really disadvantages women who are lower income and women of color, and that is the Hyde Amendment. You know, 42 years ago, the U.S. Supreme Court declared that a woman's right to a safe medical procedure and abortion is constitutionally protected. And for the last 42 years, most women in America have had the ability to make this decision for themselves in consultation with their doctors and their families and their clergy. However, since the passage of the Hyde Amendment in 1976, which to put perspective in this, I was in high school I was in college. I just graduated from South High School right down the road. I was in college when the Hyde Amendment was passed. Women who received their health insurance through the federal government have been denied the right to have that same access to that decision for themselves and their families. They don't get the full range of health care services that every other woman has access to in this country. This is the worst public policy decision that we have right now in this country, to say that women of means can get a full range of reproductive rights, but poor women cannot get that same choice. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg made that point very starkly recently when she said, "There's a sorry situation in the United States, which is essentially that poor women don't have reproductive choice and women of means do." Justice Ginsburg's point, and what so many women in this country experience, is the result of the Hyde Amendment. And that is why I've joined together with a number of my colleagues in Congress, in particular Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky from Illinois and Congresswoman Barbara Lee from California, to introduce the Each Women Act to draw the line in the sand on women's reproductive rights. 90 members of Congress have already co-sponsored this important legislation. And what it says is we are reversing this wrong-headed and public policy disaster of the Hyde Amendment. We are going to allow every woman in this country, no matter where she gets her health insurance, to be able to make these important decisions for herself and her family. The Each Woman Act would permanently repeal the Hyde Amendment. It would ensure that every American woman can make these important decisions. But you know what? I need everybody's help here today. Because the Hyde Amendment has been around for so long, a lot of people just assume that it's a good idea. And they are really wrong about that. And that is why Calor's decision today to enter into a long-term education program is so important, because we need to let everybody know that every woman in this country should have access to the health care that she needs. And so finally, I need your help, because when politicians insert their extreme ideology into women's reproductive health care, it's not the rich women who suffer because of this. It's low-income women, it's women of color, and it's young women who suffer because of this. And that's just wrong. And so everybody here, everybody who's listening, they need to tell everybody they know about this wrong-headed policy and how it's time to have some sense in our women's health care policy in this country. It's going to take us some education, it's going to take us some time, but public polling shows that when we educate people, when they understand these issues, they agree with us. And that's why we need this education campaign. We're all part of the movement, and the movement we're all part of is equal reproductive health for every single American woman. So thank you for doing this. Thanks for being
Thank you so much, Congresswoman DeGette. I'd like to introduce Senator Andy Kerr. Since 2006, Senator Kerr has represented Southwest Denver. He served House District 26 for 6 years, and he now serves Senate District 22. Senator Kerr is a champion for Colorado women and families. He's been fighting for Colorado schools, our health care, and our economy. He stood firm against multiple attacks on the women of our great state. He has worked across the aisle to find solutions that will protect the safety, health, and rights of all women. Thank you, Senator Kerr, for standing with women of Colorado.
Thank you, Corrine, and thank you so much for allowing me a few minutes to speak to you about some of the really unfortunate things that have been going on at the state legislature. So even as our nation is working to recognize the crucial role of women in our economy and society, in Colorado, women have been under attack this year. In the legislature, it's been a challenge to get anyone on the other side of the aisle, as much as we try, to do right by women. But your progressive leaders in the legislature are committed, and I am personally committed, to ensuring that Colorado women are valued in the workplace as much as their male counterparts, and that the healthcare choices that they and their families rely on are not taken away. As a dad and a teacher, I very well know that it's back to school time in Colorado. Thousands of families are paying higher fees, school supplies, and other expenses to get their kids off to the next grade or to college. Colorado moms in the workforce trying to provide for their children's future already have enough challenges. But unfortunately, women in Colorado are losing ground, with earnings compared to men in the same position actually declining in recent years, while the rest of this country was getting better. In Colorado, we've had a commission studying this problem for several years with the goal of developing best practices for the state and private industry to help ensure equal pay for working women. Unfortunately, that commission was killed by the far right with a vote to not renew its funding this year. So if that wasn't bad enough, women in Colorado face avoidable struggles obtaining family planning information and services to make the right choices for their own families. Legislation to provide funds for a contraception program credited with dramatically lowering the rate of unintended pregnancy in Colorado was killed by the far right this year, necessitating a scramble to beg for funds from private sources to keep the program going. Again, a program that is documented to reduce abortions was killed by the far right. This year, I introduced legislation to allow parents more time to get involved with their kids' education. The Parental Involvement Act was designed to help ensure that parents could be there for parent-teacher conferences, special education meetings and functions, and other important events parents should be a part of. And once again, this legislation was killed by, you guessed it, a lot of legislators who claim that they support family values. So I'm joining the Stand With Women campaign because it's time to reverse the downward trend for women in our great state. There's no reason why pay equity for women should be in decline here in Colorado compared to the rest of the nation. There's no reason why parents can't attend critical meetings and events related to their kids' education. And there's no reason why Colorado can't provide long-acting reversible contraceptives to every woman who needs one, which will save our state millions and make life better for thousands of working families. On a personal note, my grandmother, who lives one block outside of my district in Lakewood, is turning 100 this year. And when she was born, women in this country could not vote. Well, now they can, and it seems like every decade she's been alive, the trend has been for increasing women's access to the ballot box, to health care, many advances. But this last decade, the decade that my daughter's been alive, and there's a 90-year gap between my grandmother and my daughter, the last decade it seems like some of these trends might be reversing. I want to make sure that my daughter is not growing up in a time period that her grandmother fought so hard for these advances, and we're not going to move backward. So for me, standing with women is more than the right thing to do. It's common sense with positive impacts we can see with our very own eyes. And I'm proud to be here today with these brave public servants and leaders to call on all Coloradans to stand with women. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Kerr. We appreciate all the work you do for us at the state legislature. I'd like to introduce City Councillor Maria de Cambra. Maria represents the City of Westminster. She has stood for years with the women and families of Colorado. She truly understands and takes seriously her commitment and responsibility to her community as an elected official. She leads with her values, which include integrity in all things, genuine community engagement, fairness, and opportunity for all. She is a small business owner and also the communications director for the Campaign for a Strong Colorado, a communications firm dedicated to the future of our state with a vision of a stronger tomorrow through collaboration and meaningful discussion. Thank you so much, Councillor Cambra, for standing with women and families.
Buenos dias! I am so excited to be here today to support such a great campaign. And I really want to commend Progress Now, Color, and 9 to 5 for putting this together. We need to make sure that women and their families can achieve economic independence, because our economic barriers really play a role in the decisions that we make for our health, our families, our education, amongst many other things. From a municipal level, I think there's many policies that we can pass to make sure that women can achieve economic independence. I'm going to start with affordable workforce housing. Many times I hear from families, seniors, recent college graduates who are concerned that they're no longer going to be able to afford to live where they currently are, that they're going to have to be far from their jobs, that they're going to have to be far from their children's school. They're really concerned. And the reality is that decent, affordable housing is important not only for families, but it's very important because we need to make sure that we can keep our teachers, our nurses, our seniors living in our communities. But it's not only important for them, it's important for business. It's good business, because many companies, when they're looking to relocate, they look whether they have the workforce housing for their employees. So if we want to continue to have strong communities with good employment opportunities, we need to make sure that we have affordable workforce housing. I am very proud to announce that in the city of Westminster, we just decided to do an assessment of the affordable workforce housing that we have, because we want to be able to know what do we currently have, what projects are working, and what work do we need to do and policies that we need to change. So be on the lookout for that, but I really want to encourage other municipalities to do that as well, because we need to make sure that our communities can continue to live in our cities. The second thing that we need to focus on is making sure that we have access to good jobs. And what I mean with good jobs, I mean we need jobs that pay well, we need jobs that have benefits, and we need jobs that provide opportunities for growth for our workforce. And I think for the cities, it starts with your own city employees. I am very proud that at the city of Westminster, we do not pay minimum wage for our hourly workers, because we know that our minimum wage, it's not livable. And I think that's where it starts. We need to make sure that our workers are getting paid well and that they have good benefits and opportunities. Along those lines, it's very important that we attract businesses that have those same values of paying our employees well, of making sure that they have benefits. Because if our employees have the necessary skills to do well at their job, the product that it produces for our city and for our community is going to be way better than if we're paying bad and we don't have good and we have crappy jobs. The third thing that I think we need to do at the municipal level is we need to make sure that we have resources that we're providing so our communities can thrive. One of the things that we're going to be doing here in the next 2 weeks that I'm so proud of is we're going to be opening one of our public libraries on Sundays now. This library is in one of the lowest income parts of the city. But we wanted to make sure that our children have a place to do their homework and study, and they can thrive. So in a couple weeks, that library is going to be open. But there's also programs that our cities can provide to make sure that all of our children are surviving, that are thriving and have great opportunities. One of the things that we do in Westminster is 1 week a month, 1 week of the year, 4-year-olds have free books for the whole week. Because we want to make sure that when they're going to preschool, they already have been getting acquainted with books and they already have resources. We also provide laptops that people can come and use at our library so they can submit resumes and they can do their homework. And we want to make sure that people in our community are thriving. So I want to encourage other municipalities to do the same. These are just a few that I'm mentioning, but I think it's a good start. We need to make sure that everybody in our community has the opportunities to succeed, regardless of what zip code or what part of town you live in. So thank you so much. I'm so excited about this campaign. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Cambra. We appreciate you. I would like to recognize Lorena Cantorovici. Sorry. Lorena is the owner of Empanada, and she is our host here today. I was really touched when I read your story. Lorena did not start out as a professional baker. She actually worked as a banker and a CPA in Buenos Aires. She also has a master's degree in marketing. She brought her mother's empanadas recipes with her when she moved to this country, and she soon realized that she didn't really enjoy working in the financial industry here. And so she started making empanadas for her friends, and for friends of friends, and friends of friends. And soon she turned her garage into a commercial kitchen. As a small business owner, a Latina, a woman, and an immigrant, Lorena applauds champion elected officials who stand with women and families to support freedom, family values, fairness, and opportunity. I'd like to thank Lorena for hosting us today and for her support of the Stand With Families Women and Families campaign.
Well, my name is Lorena. I just want to tell you that yesterday Emmy sent me an email saying, okay, it would be great if you give a few words. And I said, oh my God. So I started shaking, and probably the same shaking that I still have right now. But, so I said, okay, I need to take something as an example. What am I going to say? So I said, okay, I was thinking yesterday. What did I do yesterday? Okay, so I said I woke up 7 a.m. in the morning, I prepare, I take the boys to school, then I came to work, I hire a new person, then I had a lot of meetings with employees, fighting with the price of tomatoes, and the egg, by the way, that is expensive. And after that, oh my gosh, it's 2:30, I need to go and pick up the boys. Oh no, but first I need to pick up my mom. And then I talked to my mom, and then I went to my house, so they can visit my mom for 2 hours. And after those 2 hours, I can come to work a little bit, and then go pick up the boys again, take them to soccer, and then guess what? Prepare the dinner because my husband is coming to home. So I say, oh my gosh, there it is. Look how many things, how many roles I did in only less than 24 hours. And that's not only my position, it's all of you guys too. And I cannot stop in recognizing you for all the incredible work that women do. And you guys, I support the 3 organizations, and I want to let you know that I'm so proud to have you here. And Maria Empanada opened the door for you, so thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. We so appreciate being here today. I just want to thank everyone that came out today to support the launch of the Stand With Women campaign, which is Calor, 9 to 5 Colorado, and Progress Now Colorado. As you heard from these 3 elected officials, at every stage of government, we can work to protect and preserve the rights, freedom, justice, and values that we all have for Coloradans. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to working with all of you, and have a lovely day. There's empanadas on the table.